There's a great video titled Why I Enjoyed the Spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen More Than the Real Thing, which inspired me to make this. You can watch it after, because I won't be coming to the same conclusion. The similarity this video shares is the idea that seeing the spoilers with no context is more entertaining than actually reading it with the context. This is because the possibilities I could imagine, given only season 1, are better written than what actually happens. At least I think so. I actually read the manga before the anime came out, but the idea still stands. Major spoilers ahead. The first major spoiler is Aki turning into the gun fiend and fighting Denji to the death. The idea of the hero and his best friend / rival seriously fighting each other is a cool concept. DBZ did it well in the Majin Buu arc, and Naruto did it well throughout. Let's examine CSM. Aki is a character who is obsessed with killing the gun devil. With just the context of season 1, my assumption would have been that his obsession led him to fighting the gun and being killed in battle, but he got close to killing it. As a direct result, the gun possessed his body, making him the gun fiend, and Denji was forced to tragically kill him. Aki's fall would have been a direct result of his values and actions, and it would cause him to ironically become the thing that he hated. The theme would be, don't let revenge consume you. Aki's inability to learn the lesson would lead to his fight against Denji. But that's not what happens. Aki initially was going to enroll his division in the mission to fight the gun devil, but due to his growing connection to Denji and power, he pulls his division out of the mission for their safety. He has a character arc where he learns to value his allies more than his revenge. That's a good arc, but why does he fight the gun devil? Makima possesses him with her abilities and forces him to fight against his will. The gun devil conveniently possesses his corpse, and she controls it to fight Denji. This writing decision robs Aki of agency. He faces major consequences for things that were completely out of his control. He completes his character arc, but suffers consequences that should be punishment for him failing his arc. There is no longer a theme due to these conflicting decisions. The fact that Aki isn't paying the price for his own actions makes Denji vs Aki much weaker. The second half is Makima vs the gun devil. Gun has been the main antagonist being built up throughout the story. One might assume that this would be one of the longest and most epic battles in the story. One would be wrong to assume that. This fight is skimmed over in about 2 chapters and relies heavily on narration to move it forward. Even the conclusion of the fight is off-screen. It doesn't take a genius to realize that the more important a fight is, the longer it should be, especially in battle manga. CSM was mostly following that rule, but then it decided to do this. You could argue that Makima being revealed to be the control devil makes up for that, but it'd be a weak argument. This fight is what the story has been building up to for 8 volumes, and is simply skimmed over and off-screened. The second major moment is Power's death. Imagine you only see the panel of her getting shot. Maybe this was a consequence of her actions. Maybe she secretly betrayed the team, and Makima found out. Maybe she did something irresponsible to anger their leader. Makima was shown threatening Power to get it together in season 1. In actuality, this event is pretty random. Power comes to wish Denji a happy birthday, and Makima shoots her to break him down. That's it. Now, rapid fire. If I just saw the panel of Kishibe pointing a gun at Makima and Denji ripping through her from 85, I might assume that Denji and Kishibe teamed up against her after realizing that she was a traitor. But what actually happened is that Makima possessed Denji and ordered him to kill her. At least the Kishibe part was right. If I saw all of the devils teaming up against the monstrous Denji in 86, I might have assumed 2 possibilities. Number 1 is that Makima betrayed Denji and made an alliance with all of these devils. Maybe she convinced them that he was too dangerous to be left alive, or maybe they were always working for her. This forced Denji to unleash his true power to survive. The other is that Denji lost control to his inner demon for a good reason, like Full Hollow Ichigo, and this forced Makima to ally with her enemies to stop him. I say this because Katana is there, and he was an enemy in season 1. I'd have similar assumptions if I saw Denji ripping through Makima and Half Devils from 88. But what actually happened is Makima forced Denji to transform. He goes berserk, so she summons a bunch of Half Devils she killed, and under her complete control, she commands them to fight. In these examples, the underlying problem is the lack of synthesis, connection, and cohesion. In a high-level story, the plot, characters, and themes are all connected. My favorite example is Iron Man 1. Tony's pre-arc values directly and poetically lead to the plot of him getting captured by the people who own his weapons. This experience logically forces him to have a character arc, which is also the theme of the story. The theme is represented through the character arc. The plot is a consequence for his pre-arc values, and the plot creates logical events that change his values and externalize the theme. These big moments in Chainsaw Man don't do that. Aki is forced into his fate against his will. It goes against his character arc and its theme. Power's death is random for her and isn't a consequence of any of her actions. Denji's berserk form is also against his will. He randomly kills Makima despite being under his spell. Makima randomly loses control of him and is forced to bring back up to fight him. These events aren't rooted in consistent character decisions with agency or in the themes of the story. Based on season 1, you can't piece together the character motivations and themes of the story to come up with logical explanations for the spoilers, and then others just don't have enough time spent on them. The fight against the gun devil is skimmed, and all of the fights in the control devil arc happen so quickly, despite them being the last fights in part 1. This is the final arc, and these battles last about 3 chapters max. I remember Kubo once said that he comes up with cool scenes and then finds a way for the story to get there. It seems like Fujimoto started doing the same thing towards the end of part 1, except he was significantly less skilled at hiding this. In conclusion, The plot, characters, and themes should all be working together to create amazing moments in the story. If you're planning on commenting, not every story has to be the same. Save us both the time, and don't. I get it, you have low standards. There's no such thing as a bad story, all stories are equal. Well, in this library, we have higher standards, so get off your knees, zip up Fujimoto's pants, leave a dislike, and exit the video.